Welcome to the lecture for Chapter 1, Section 2. In this lecture, we'll cover the basic input and output operations using the print function and the input function. By the end of this section, you will be able to understand Python syntax rules, use the print function for output, and gather information from users using the input function. Python syntax emphasizes readability and consistency. It's case-sensitive, requires indentation, and enforces rules for variable names. Parentheses are required for function calls, and spacing matters in specific contexts. Let's just take a look at a little bit of syntax for Python. I'm going to go ahead and create a sample here. So vi syntax.py. And let's go ahead and talk about a little bit of syntax. Now, syntax is based on indentation. So indentation is important. It's how we define code blocks within Python. So if I do something like, I'm going to go ahead and go into insert mode here. If I do something if true, print true. This will throw an error because we are not following the rules for indentation. When I create a code block by using a selection statement, in this case the if statement, I must indent the code after the if statement. This is required. I'm going to go ahead and save this and use Python to run this syntax.py. And notice that we get an indentation error expected in indented block. And this is at line 2. Let's go ahead and fix our code. I'm going to go ahead and indent my print statement here. And rerun our Python script. And as expected, it now prints true to the terminal. The print function is essential for showing program output or logs. In cybersecurity, it's often used to format log entries so they're easier to read. The SEP parameter specifies how values are separated, while the end parameter controls what comes after the output. By default, that's a new line. Let's take a look at how this would work. Let's go ahead and jump into our syntax here, .py script, and let's go ahead and open a new line after here, and let's just create a couple variables. So we'll have the alert. Let's go ahead and take a look at the code here. So event time, event type, event time. I'll just pick a time. And our type is a login failure. And username is admin. And then we can print that with a separator and the end line. So we can use comma separated lists here. So event time followed by event type followed by the username. Now this separator can be one of many things. So I can make it anything. By default, the separator is a space. but I can actually make it a tab. So make this a tab separated list. And then end by default is a new line, but we can actually change that. And let's put another print statement here. And we'll go ahead and save this. And notice how we get the time, tab, login failure, tab, admin, semicolon as an end, and then action required. So we can control how the output is displayed on the terminal. Let's go ahead and modify this. And let's change the separator to, let's just go back to the default. And notice how a new line by default is added to the log line, and we have action required here. So, although Python often ignores extra spaces, indentation and certain formatting matters. Being precise with spaces, new lines, and indentation ensures clean, maintainable code. The input function lets a program receive data from the user. The enter text is stored in a variable for later use. Prompts guide the user on what to enter. These are the three parts of prompting the user for input. So let's go ahead and jump into our code again here. And let's make a new one. Prompt for IP.py. And the first thing we'll do is create our prompt. So IP equals input, calling input function. Here's our variable. We use the assignment operator. In most programming languages, that's the equal sign. Then we call the input function, followed by parentheses, which are required for our function after our function call. And then we're going to display a prompt. So enter IP address to scan. And then we'll close the parenthesis for our input function call. Go ahead, and then we'll just print scanning and then comma IP. And by default, the separator, by default is a space. So there will be a space between scanning and IP. I'll go ahead and save this and run it. Python 3 prompt for IP. And now you can see we are prompted here. Now the process goes into a wait state because it's waiting for user input. Once we put in an IP address, and hit enter, then the program resumes, the Python script resumes and processes the user input. But you can see scanning IP 192.168.1.1. So you go ahead and try it. Add the prompt to your Savage Scan utility so that you're prompting for the IP address to scan, and then print scanning that IP address. In the next lecture, after we review the application of the concept we just learned to Savage Scan, we'll cover variables.